For music like that, you cannot be sitting still in your seat. Come on now. I'll say it again. Good evening. This is, in fact, a celebration. My name is Chet Yu, and I have the pleasure of serving as the president and CEO of the Syria Health Foundation and as an honorary co-chair for tonight's event. I'd like to begin by welcoming you to the Unity Ball 2018, the 50th anniversary of the Greater Sacramento Urban League. I want to offer my thanks to each and every one of you for being here and supporting the league over its 50-year history. This event tonight is also the tangible implementation of what the CEO of the Urban League defined as the Build Black initiative. And I'd like to say exactly how that's taking place. So, as you came in tonight, you did register at the kiosk, didn't you? Is there anybody here who didn't register? Because you might be in the wrong place. At that moment, you supported a local, Black-owned, Black-led, female-owned business called MCE Check-In. The lights, screens, and audiovisuals you are experiencing at this very moment was also provided by a local, Black-owned and led company called Sight and Sound Audiovisual. And most importantly for the event tonight, all of the proceeds, all of the cash that we came out of our pockets with, will also support a Black-led organization as well. The Sacramento Urban League has been about the business of building our Black community economically, socially, and culturally for over 50 years. But there is another community institution that has been doing it for even longer, for 56 years now. It is my great privilege tonight to honor the man who founded that organization, Dr. William E. Lee. Dr. Lee is the publisher of the Sacramento Observer, and we are honoring him for his leadership and for his role in founding the Greater Sacramento Urban League more than 50 years ago. I have the pleasure of bestowing upon Dr. Lee the 2018 Community Empowerment Award. Everyone in this room is aware of what a giant of a man Dr. Lee is. I want to simply say that he holds a special place in my heart. When I arrived in Sacramento some 10 years ago, Dr. Lee actually showed up at my office. He came to visit me, one of the first individuals in this community to do so. Now, I had spent the previous 15 years in the Bay Area, some of that time in San Francisco. And I knew of Dr. Lee by reputation. I lived in the Fillmore, and I actually worked closely with another paper that was actually founded by a gentleman by the name of Dr. Carlton Goodlett. Dr. Goodlett was also a giant in Black media. And in the years when, this was years ago, I was a much younger man, but in the years, I actually heard him talk about this gentleman, Dr. Lee. And so when he showed up, and I got to meet him personally, I was truly, truly honored that he would take the time to show up to welcome me to Sacramento. Over the years, he has been a mentor, he has been a friend, he's been a confidant for me whenever I needed some help and assistance, or a little motivation, or support. So it's truly an honor that I've been selected tonight to be the one to present him his award. Let's please take a moment to watch the tribute to Dr. William H. Lee.
Dr. William H. Lee was born in 1936 in Austin, Texas. His parents, Reverend Charles and Carrie Lee, moved young Williams and his brother James to California in the early 1940s. After first living in San Francisco, the Lees moved to the Del Paso Heights area of Sacramento, where William and James graduated from Grant High School. Lee attended Sacramento State University and went on to earn a BA degree from the University of California at Berkeley in 1957. After graduating from UC Berkeley, Lee had short but fruitful employment with stays with both Aerojet and IBM corporations in Sacramento. His dream to establish his own firm led him to open his own real estate company. However, while his real estate career was very successful, Lee was driven to provide a much-needed voice for the African American community. Lee invested in what would become his life's work when he and local radio connoisseur Gino Gladden and businessman John Cole launched the Sacramento Observer on November 22, 1962. In 1965, Dr. Lee and his wife Catherine became sole owners of the paper. The Observer has been named the nation's best black newspaper 6 times and is considered the most honored black newspaper in America. The Observer has received more than 600 national, regional, and local awards for journalism excellence and community service. Before retiring and handing the reins of the Observer over to his son Larry Lee, Dr. Lee published a newspaper longer than anyone else in California's history. A recognized business leader, Lee served on the board of directors of a number of national and local companies, such as Methodist Hospital of Sacramento, the advisory board of Wells Fargo Bank, and many others. He also served as a board member of Blue Cross of California, where he played a critical role in the launching of the California Endowment. One of Dr. Lee's proudest professional accomplishments was being appointed by Governor George Deukmejian to chair California's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Committee, helping to establish the official observance of Dr. King's birthday as a statewide holiday. Over the years, Dr. Lee has been very involved in a number of civic and political organizations, one of which was co-founding the Men's Civic League of Sacramento. Dr. Lee and the other members of the Men's Civic League initiated the first meeting with the National Urban League with the intent of establishing a Sacramento Urban League affiliate. Through these efforts, our local Urban League was born. Over the last 50 years, the Sacramento Urban League and the Sacramento Observer have walked arm in arm in helping to change the conditions for Sacramento's black community. The Urban League has done so through workforce development and providing opportunities for many who have been forgotten by society. The Observer has continued to provide relevant news and service for an underserved audience whose appetite for meaningful information and content go unmet by mainstream media. Both efforts are needed as much today as they were a half century ago.
Dr. Lee is not able to be with us tonight, but we do have his son, Larry Lee, here to accept his award.
Pictures. Got to get pictures for the paper. Thank you, Chet. On behalf of my parents, Dr. William Lee, and my deceased mother, Catherine Lee, the entire Observer family, and the Lee family, thank you so much to the Greater Sacramento Urban League for this award. This is truly meaningful for us as a family and as a business. Especially nice to receive the award from our good friend Chet Hewitt. I remember when Chet came on board at the Sierra Health Foundation, and I remember saying to him personally, Chet, we need you to move to Sacramento, and our community is better because of people like Chet Hewitt. So please give him a round of applause. And happy birthday, Greater Sacramento Urban League. Give him applause. 50 years is quite an accomplishment. The Observer has been right along with you during this 50 years. Of course, we've been publishing 55 years, coming up on 56 years. And it's a very challenging thing to do when you think about the climate for African-American run organizations and African-American owned businesses. Supporting us is dependent upon you all. And so your support, you're showing up here this evening with both your presence and your financial support is extremely meaningful to help continue to push for the Urban League and its efforts over these years. It's a very happy occasion, but it's also a little bittersweet because, as Ms. Cassandra mentioned, you know, our community is challenged in a lot of ways. It's unfortunate that we need organizations like the Urban League and like the Observer. You would like to think that over 50 years we would have been able to change the conditions a little bit more. And even though we've been fighting hard, we're going to continue to fight hard. So we continue to support each other. We know that the Observer is in the transition. For you all to know the worst kept secret in Sacramento is that the Observer is relocating from our Oak Park office for over 25 years out to Del Paso Boulevard. And so we're excited about that. So as I told Cassandra the other day, it was really fun. I ran over to the Urban League for a minute, and as I told her, I said, when I was a kid and I was in Oak Park, I used to run over to the Urban League for a quick minute as I needed to, and it was really great being in Del Paso Heights and running over to the Urban League for a quick minute as well, too. So with that, we love you all, we support you all, and God bless you, everyone.